Have you ever felt as though you were drowning in the turbulent waters of your feelings, or that you were wandering aimlessly through the turbulent waters of your negative thoughts? If I told you that the ancient wisdom of Stoicism could assist you in finding your way through these difficult times, would you believe me? This profound statement was made by Marcus Aurelius, who said, "You have power over your mind, not over outside events." Today, we will investigate these words. Having this realization will allow you to find strength. With this profound declaration, you embark on a journey that will alter the course of your life. We invite you to accompany us on this journey as we investigate 7 Stoic teachings that are more than just teachings, they are ways of experiencing life. These lessons will teach you how to keep your emotions under control and navigate the storms that life throws at you, provided that you have a heart full of courage and a mind full of emotions that do not stop. Let me take this opportunity to welcome you to how to get rid of negative thoughts using Stoicism, your guide to finding peace in the midst of the chaos that is life. The first lesson: be aware of what you are able to control. Not the kind of storm that involves rain and thunder, but the storms that life throws at you. Have you ever found yourself in a storm? Unanticipated occurrences, unpleasant disappointments, or sudden changes. The Stoic philosophers of ancient Greece and Rome taught a lesson that feels like a lifeline in these storms, and that lesson is the dichotomy of control. Consider the following scenario: you are in the process of organizing an event that will take place outside, but it rains at the very last minute. It does not matter how much you want to be able to control the weather, you simply cannot. The way in which you feel about the rain, on the other hand, is entirely up to you. You have the option of not only feeling sad and angry, but also finding a way to deal with the situation. You might, for instance, decide to move the event inside or take advantage of the rain as an alternative. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher who was born into slavery and went on to become one of the most influential thinkers of his time, is credited with saying, "Some things are in our control and others are not." This statement may seem very simple, but it is actually quite profound. On the other hand, this apparent lack of complexity conceals a profound wisdom that has the potential to transform our lives. Every day we are confronted with a variety of situations. What we read, the people we spend time with, and the routines we follow on a daily basis are all examples of things that we have the ability to alter. Nevertheless, there are a great number of things that we are unable to control, such as the weather, the actions of other people, the passage of time, and global events. Just at this point, things start to get interesting. Stoic philosophers believe that the way in which we perceive and react to the world around us is the primary factor in determining our level of happiness. It is not the event itself that causes our feelings, rather, it is the way that we think about it that does. Do you remember a time when you were forced to overcome a challenge? Perhaps the job that you desired was not available to you. At the time, everything seemed to be going wrong, but after some time had passed, you might have realized that it was actually a blessing in disguise that took you to a better opportunity or helped you grow as an individual. The question is, how are we going to achieve this goal? The question you should ask yourself is this something I can control? If the answer is yes, then you should take action to address the situation. If you receive a negative response, this presents an opportunity to work on your ability to accept and alter the situation. Through a profound comprehension and internalization of this principle, we can liberate ourselves from suffering that is not necessary. Being aware of the fact that we are unable to control the wind, but have the ability to adjust our sails, enables us to navigate life with a sense of calm. The contrast between control and freedom shines like a beacon in a world that frequently appears to be out of order. It serves as a reminder to make the most of our energy and to take pleasure in the sense of calm that comes from the realization that there are some things that are beyond our ability to control. Thinking before you act is the second lesson. Since people in today's society place a high value on speed and instantaneousness, the art of reflection may appear to be a thing of the past. Taking a moment to reflect and pause can be our savior in a world where we are constantly under pressure to take action promptly. Take into consideration the numerous choices we have to make, both large and small, ranging from selecting a meal at a restaurant to deciding on a career path. Although there are a lot of choices available, the most important thing is not how many options there are, but how we choose to approach them. Let's take a look at the action of reading a message that elicits a certain emotion in you as an illustration. It's possible that someone at work is questioning the work you've done, or that a friend might make a casual comment about it. It is possible that your initial thought is to defend yourself or to become angry. You have the ability to dive headfirst into that emotional whirlpool. However, what would happen if you took a step back? When you give yourself that brief break, your feelings are not being repressed, rather, they are simply being given the opportunity to breathe and be understood. There is no such thing as avoiding or accepting our thoughts and feelings without taking any action when we engage in reflection. Being present with them is the key to success. It involves asking questions that are profound, such as, why did this comment hurt me so much? My current emotions are being influenced by what underlying beliefs or experiences I have had. Is my first reaction based on what's happening now or on things that happened in the past? Thinking about what you are going to say before you actually say it is another way to develop empathy for the other person. We also give ourselves the opportunity to see things from the perspectives of other people when we give ourselves time to accomplish our goals. It is possible that the person had a difficult day and was unaware of the significance of what they had to say because they were having a difficult time. When we give things some thought, we not only help ourselves but also those around us to have a better understanding of them. The importance of this habit in relationships cannot be overstated. What would be the number of misunderstandings that we could prevent if we took a moment to think before we spoke? What is the number of bridges that could be constructed instead of being broken down? When we give ourselves time to think, we are able to discover clarity, compassion, and connection. Another skill that is extremely valuable in professional settings is the ability to pause and think. In general, people are more likely to respect and follow leaders who give careful consideration to their decisions before making them. Most of the time, people have the impression that they are thoughtful, calm, and intelligent. Their decisions, which are the result of careful consideration, are the ones that endure. One way to rebel against a world that frequently appears to be moving at a breakneck speed is to engage in reflective thinking. It is a subtle but effective way of expressing that we will not allow ourselves to be carried away by the currents of immediacy. If we make this promise, it means that we will look after ourselves, we will be happy, and we will treat other people with respect. The act of thinking before acting is not merely a practice, rather, it is a philosophy, a way of life that prioritizes depth over breadth, understanding over impulsivity, and long-lasting connections over fleeting ones. It is a journey within that has profound effects on the outside world, exerting an influence not only on how we react but also on how our lives are put together. Learn to be impartial, which is the third lesson. If you are someone who lives in a world that is frequently emotional, the concept of practicing dispassion may appear strange to you. However, let's take a closer look at what it actually means and the power it has to change things. To be dispassionate is not to conceal your feelings or to be unconcerned about what is going on around you. Rather, it is to find a sense of calm in the midst of a potentially turbulent situation. Just for a moment, try to picture yourself not being overpowered by the events, circumstances, or even your own feelings. Take a moment to reflect on the most recent film that truly captured your attention. There were times when things were tense, exciting, and possibly even sad. I can't say for certain. You were aware that it was merely a movie. You did not rush to assist the protagonist or cheer for the antagonist as if their problems were real, despite the fact that you were interested in the story. Although you were still experiencing the feelings, you were able to maintain a sense of distance from them. An approach to life that is comparable to this is advocated by the Stoics. In order to avoid allowing your feelings to dictate your behavior, it is important to be conscious of how they fluctuate. Take into consideration being halted in traffic. Feeling angry or upset is a natural thing to do. Not allowing these feelings to take control is what it means to practice dispassion. This is accomplished by first acknowledging them without passing judgment on them, and then releasing them, much like clouds in the sky. You are not becoming apathetic or passive as a result of this. Rather, it simply means that you have a greater degree of control over your emotional responses. In the face of a challenging circumstance, you have the ability to take a step back and think about the various options available to you rather than reacting on impulse. In the event that you are able to think clearly, you will be able to avoid getting lost in the excitement of the moment, make better decisions, and take constructive action. Dispassion also has an effect on how we respond to events that occur in the outside world and are beyond our control. When a global crisis manifests itself, or when those you care about are confronted with adversity, it is natural to experience a surge of feelings. By engaging in the practice of dispassion, we have the ability to make the decision to respond with composure and grace rather than giving up or feeling hopeless. This does not imply that we are unfeeling or heartless. Rather, it simply indicates that we are able to keep our composure even in the face of the inevitable storms that life brings. There is a sense in which dispassion can be compared to an anchor that helps us remain stable when life is difficult. The ability to deal with problems in a strong and graceful manner, the strength and stability to be a source of support for ourselves and those around us, and the reminder that even though emotions are a normal part of being human, we have the power to rise above them and be the calm in the midst of the storm, are all benefits that we receive from this. Fourth, acknowledge that things are constantly evolving. The only thing that is guaranteed in life is change. The seasons, which change with the months, as well as the cells that make up our bodies, which are constantly renewing themselves, are all examples of things that are constantly changing around us. Despite the fact that change is constantly occurring, many of us continue to fight against it. Because we are afraid of the unknown, we tend to cling to the things that we are familiar with and with which we feel secure. On the other hand, the Stoics recommend that we make an effort to accept change as a natural and unavoidable component of life, rather than simply accepting it. Being aware of the fact that things are constantly changing does not mean inciting fear or anxiety. Rather, it means fostering gratitude and presence. Suppose for a moment that everything in your life was permanent, that the people you love would never leave, that your current situation would never change, and that every moment of joy and every moment of pain would last forever. This is something you should think about. Although at first this might appear to be a good idea, in the long run, it would only result in complacency and stagnation. One of the things that gives life its color, depth, and speed is the awareness of how things change or evolve. It is brought to our attention that each and every moment, experience, and relationship is equally precious and fleeting. Because we never know when we will have another opportunity, it encourages us to take pleasure in the splendor of a sunset, to share laughter with our friends, and to express our affection to those who are important to us. The Stoic understanding of impermanence includes, among other things, the challenges and failures that every individual must endure. While it is natural to experience feelings of defeat and being overpowered when we are going through challenging times, we can find solace in the knowledge that this too will pass if we are willing to acknowledge that everything is subject to change. Just as the clouds that were threatening us eventually dissipate, so do our problems. This serves as a reminder that we are capable of weathering the storms that life throws at us and growing stronger on the other side. Then, how do we come to terms with the fact that everything is temporary in the real world? The adjustment of one's point of view is the first step. It is not necessary for us to resist change, rather, we can learn to align ourselves with it, much like a river that twists and turns as it flows. We have the ability to cultivate a sense of detachment from material possessions and external circumstances, with the knowledge that these things are ephemeral, and we have the ability to express gratitude for the things that we have learned and the opportunities that have presented themselves. A person who is open to the possibility that things will change is like someone who is dancing with life, fully engaging with the rhythms that are constantly shifting and discovering joy and meaning in each new moment. 5. Make it a habit to express gratitude. Being grateful is a straightforward yet potent practice that has the potential to alter our perspective of the world. It is about being able to recognize and appreciate the positive aspects of our lives, even when facing challenging circumstances. The act of expressing gratitude causes us to redirect our focus from what is lacking to what is available, as well as from what is incorrect to what is appropriate. Stoic philosophy acknowledges the power of gratitude as a means to achieve inner peace and contentment if it is followed. According to their point of view, we can discover happiness in the here and now by acknowledging the positive aspects of our lives. However, what are some ways that we can express gratitude, and why is it so vital? Being thankful is not something that is reserved solely for large acts of kindness or extraordinary occurrences. Rather, it can be discovered in the everyday pleasures that life has to offer, such as the sensation of the sun on your face, the sound of a child laughing, or the aroma of a dish that you enjoy eating. This is about appreciating the insignificant things in life and being aware of how significant they are. The Stoics encourage us to contemplate the fleeting nature of these pleasures by imagining what it would be like to lose them. Take into consideration for a moment that you are unable to experience the warmth of the sun or the sound of someone you love laughing loudly. Could you imagine how much more valuable those memories would become? It is not the intention of this practice of negative visualization to make us feel down. Rather, it is intended to make us appreciate the here and now more. It serves as a timely reminder that the seemingly insignificant things that we tend to take for granted are, in fact, quite valuable gifts. It is also possible for the power of gratitude to alter the way in which we respond to challenges. When we are confronted with challenges, it is easy to give in to feelings of negativity and hopelessness. However, if we make it a habit to express gratitude, we can maintain our strength and discover hope even when things are challenging. For instance, even if you are sick, you can still be thankful for the support of your loved ones, the care that you receive from medical professionals, and the opportunity to receive treatment and get better. You can find the strength and happiness you need even when things are difficult if you shift your attention to the things for which you are grateful. In light of this, how can we demonstrate gratitude in our day-to-day lives? Consider what it is that you would like to do as a starting point. Take a few moments out of each day to think about the things for which you are grateful. An example of this could be a note written in a journal, a mental list, or a conversation with a close friend. Try to be as specific as possible when you are practicing gratitude. Take, for instance, the practice of thinking about specific things or moments that make you thankful for your family rather than simply stating, "I am thankful for my family for everything." These actions have the potential to become habits that alter the way you perceive things and transform your life into one that brings you happiness and contentment. Developing your resilience is the sixth lesson. The ability to persevere in the face of challenges, adapt to new circumstances, and triumph over adversity is exactly what we mean when we talk about resilience. This quality can be the deciding factor in whether or not one gives up in the face of the difficulties that life throws at them or emerges more resilient than ever before. The Stoics were aware of the significance of having fortitude in order to deal with the inevitable highs and lows that are a part of life. As long as we worked on developing our inner fortitude and steadiness, they believed that we would be able to face challenges with bravery and dignity. However, how can we develop resilience in our everyday lives? Having a shift in perspective is the initial step. It is not necessary for us to view challenges as obstacles, rather, we can view them as opportunities to learn and develop. Whenever you are confronted with difficulties, you should ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I become stronger as a result by rethinking problems in this manner? You give yourself the ability to face them with determination and resilience. One more essential aspect of resilience is the ability to maintain control over stressful situations and negative feelings or emotions. Practices such as mindfulness and meditation were recommended by the Stoics as ways to cultivate an inner calm and emotional equilibrium. Through the storms of life, you can maintain your composure and sense of center by doing these things. As a result, you will be able to make sound choices and behave in an appropriate manner. Having the ability to adapt to new circumstances and deal with uncertainty is another aspect of resilience. Due to the fact that life is in a constant state of flux, our plans and objectives must also be modified. According to the Stoic philosophy, we should not cling to a particular outcome or resist change. Instead, they advise that we shouldn't be afraid of the highs and lows that our journey will bring us. While still adhering to our fundamental principles, we are able to go with the flow of life. Because we are able to adjust to new circumstances, we are able to face unpredictability with conviction rather than fear. Lastly, but certainly not least, the strength of resilience comes from community and connection. If you have a network of people who are there for you, whether they are friends, family, or mentors, they can provide you with support and direction when things get difficult. It is a powerful way to build resilience to talk about the challenges you are facing and to ask for assistance when you are in need of it. In essence, the concept of resilience refers to the process of cultivating the internal resources necessary to confront adversity. But when you are resilient, you are able to face the storms that life throws at you with bravery and grace, secure in the knowledge that you have the power to ride out any challenge and emerge from it even more powerful than you were before. It is important to live your life in a manner that is congruent with your core beliefs. It is necessary to make decisions and selections that are reflective of what is most important to you in order to live a life that is in accordance with your values. It entails devoting some of your time to gaining a comprehensive understanding of your fundamental principles and affirming that you will adhere to them in every facet of your life. According to the Stoic philosophy, we can achieve genuine happiness and inner peace by living our lives in accordance with our core values. However, how do we determine what our values are? And what steps can we take to ensure that our lives are in accordance with those values? To begin, you need to determine your fundamental principles. These concepts and convictions will serve as a compass for your life and assist you in determining what is most significant to you. It is possible for them to be any values that are significant to you, such as honesty, compassion, strength, or integrity. Spend some time thinking about who you are and determining what aspects of your life are most important to you. Take some time to reflect on the moments and occurrences in your life that brought you the greatest joy and satisfaction. If you are able to identify your core values, these things can be helpful. You should make an effort to ensure that your choices and actions are in accordance with your values once you have determined what those values are. This means making decisions that are in line with your values, even if they are challenging or inconvenient from a practical standpoint. For instance, if you place a high value on honesty, you should make an effort to be honest with everyone, even when it is simple to lie. Discover ways to assist other people and be kind in your day-to-day life if you place a high value on compassion. When it comes to living a life that is in accordance with your values, it is also important to be self-aware and responsible. Make sure that your actions and choices are in line with your core beliefs by checking them frequently, but take responsibility for your actions and make an effort to realign them with your beliefs if you discover that they are no longer in accordance with your beliefs. Always keep in mind that living your life in accordance with your values is a process that unfolds over time. You need to continue to reflect on yourself and make adjustments as you develop as a person and as you go through the process of changing. When you try to live your life in accordance with your values, you will find happiness and you will be true to who you are. It is more likely that people who are happy and at peace will make decisions that will lead to happiness, even when they are confronted with challenges and difficulties. Last but not least, the Stoic philosophy provides ageless wisdom and practical guidance on how to manage your feelings and effectively navigate the challenges that life presents in order to discover inner peace and happiness. In a world where feelings can feel like rough waves, you can learn to understand what you can control, think before you act, practice dispassion, accept that things change, be grateful, build resilience, and live your life in accordance with your values. These are all things that you can learn to do. It is important to keep in mind that you should not anticipate learning these lessons immediately. Rather, you should continually practice them and reflect on what you have learned. On the other hand, you can begin to alter your relationship with both yourself and the world around you by incorporating Stoic principles into your day-to-day life. Despite the fact that you felt sorry for the character who was crying, you did not move from your seat in order to assist them. This is what I understand to be the essence of the practice of dispassion, being deeply involved in life and experiencing all of its feelings, while at the same time being able to recognize when it is appropriate to remain in the theater of your mind and observe without becoming engrossed in the action. This approach becomes a lifeline in the modern world, which is experiencing an information overload. Every day we are inundated with notices and updates regarding the latest news. Should we have strong feelings about each and every piece of information, we would be exhausted all the time. The ability to deal with the world in a more stable and balanced manner is facilitated by the buffering effect of dispassion. It is also very important to have dispassion when it comes to relationships with other people. Arguments and heated conversations are something that almost all of us experience at some point in our lives. When something like this occurs, the ability to maintain a neutral stance can distinguish between a conversation that is beneficial to both parties and an argument that is detrimental to both parties. We are able to improve our listening skills, make a response rather than a reaction, and handle disagreements with grace and understanding. To begin the process of developing dispassion, the first step is to become self-aware. This space between stimulus and response is created by checking in with ourselves on a regular basis, recognizing the emotional triggers that we experience, and gaining an understanding of the patterns that we follow. The availability of this space affords us the liberty to select how we will react and to act on purpose rather than acting on impulse. Despite the fact that dispassion may give the impression of being detached from the pleasures and joys of life, it actually makes them more enjoyable. Providing that we do not place an excessive amount of importance on the outcomes, we will be able to fully submerge ourselves in the journey and take pleasure in each and every moment without the persistent fear of loss or change. The purpose of adopting a dispassionate attitude is to achieve equilibrium in a world that is always evolving. It is a map that guides us to one's own inner peace and assists us in moving gracefully through the various terrains that life presents. When we do this, we not only make our own lives better, but we also assist those around us in experiencing a sense of calm and clarity. Think to yourself, will this still be important in 5 years? This is the 8th lesson. In the course of our lives, we will encounter situations that will put our patience, strength, and ability to maintain perspective to the test. Our days are full of a variety of situations that elicit a variety of emotions, ranging from those that are relatively minor, such as coffee that has been spilled, to those that are more significant, such as arguments with families and friends. When we are in the midst of something, we have a tendency to become engrossed in our experiences and emotions. Missing a deadline, receiving negative feedback, or forgetting an important historical date can feel like the end of the world. It can also feel like the end of the world. The question, will this matter in 5 years, is a powerful one that can assist us in gaining a better understanding of the situation. This question, which is both straightforward and profound, transports us to the future while simultaneously bringing us back to the present. Suddenly, that heated argument or missed opportunity appears to be very different from what it was before. In the grand narrative of our lives, the majority of the things that we are concerned about right now will be insignificant details that we will never remember. Take a moment to reflect on the challenges and pressures that you were experiencing 5 years ago. What percentage of them are still accurate? What percentage of them have been overshadowed by new memories, experiences, and realizations that you have gained? It is possible that this realization will make you feel both free and humble. Using this question as a guide on a regular basis helps us determine what aspects of our lives are most significant to us. This enables us to differentiate between problems that are only temporary and those that have long-term effects. In the grand scheme of things, a bad day at work might seem like a lot right now, but in the grand scheme of things, it's just one day in a successful career that lasts for decades. In addition, from this perspective, individuals become more resilient. There are times when we need to remind ourselves of the bigger picture in order to better deal with challenges and find solutions. The fact that we are confronted with challenges does not mean that we have to become mired in the issue at hand. We can instead make plans, make adjustments, and move forward, secure in the knowledge that time frequently brings clarity and answers. However, this is not simply about making our concerns appear to be of less significance. In addition, this question prompts us to consider the things that are significant. If we want the things that we do and choose to do to matter in the long run, it is essential that we make investments in experiences that last, personal growth, and relationships that are meaningful. In order to live a life that is meaningful, gives us perspective, and brings us peace, we should ask ourselves, will this matter in 5 years? We are able to handle the highs and lows of life with grace if we return to this question on a regular basis, despite the fact that our world is very focused on the here and now. By doing so, we will be able to direct our efforts and attention toward the things that truly matter. Writing in a Stoic journal is the 9th lesson. The Stoic journal is the 5th and final lesson to be learned. The act of journaling has been praised by a great number of individuals from a variety of cultures and eras, not only as a method for keeping track of events, but also as a method for reflecting, growing, and expanding one's understanding. Because the Stoics placed such an emphasis on self-awareness and personal development, they were accustomed to engaging in this practice. Every day, a Stoic journal is more than just a record of the events that occur. It is a place where you can think, talk to yourself, and analyze your feelings, choices, and responses when events are taken into consideration in relation to your personal beliefs and values. At this point, the inner world and the outer world coincide with one another. Just picture yourself coming to the end of the day and reflecting not only on what occurred but also on how you responded to it. Why did you become so angry because of a particular comment? As you were engaged in a mundane activity, what was it that brought you such joy? In order to begin to comprehend the patterns that are present in our minds, we can begin to break down our day. The things that cause us to feel a particular way, the things that direct our decisions, and the ways in which our routines influence our lives become readily apparent to us. Meditations is the name that has been given to the journal that was kept by Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher. The intention was not for it to be made public, rather, it was intended to be a private conversation, a place where he could direct himself, remind himself of Stoic principles, and make use of wisdom to deal with the challenges that he faced in his life. We are able to see a man struggling with his feelings, his responsibilities, and his position in the universe through the writings that he has produced. One does not need to be an emperor in order to derive some benefit from reading a Stoic journal. Putting aside time for introspection is even more essential in the modern world, where there are a lot of things that can divert one's attention and there is a steady stream of information. Checking in on a daily basis is an effective method for maintaining a sense of stability and gaining clarity in times of chaos. Over time, this practice has the potential to result in profound realizations. It is possible that you will discover that certain circumstances consistently cause you to feel stressed, which will prompt you to either deal with them or alter the way that you perceive them. It is possible that you will discover that particular practices, such as practicing gratitude or mindfulness, can improve your outlook and make you feel better. If you want to guide your own personal development, you can use the patterns that appear as a guide. A Stoic journal not only helps you generate new ideas, but it also makes you more responsible. Whenever you make a commitment to reflect on a daily basis, you are holding yourself accountable for the actions, reactions, and decisions that you make. As a consequence of this, it turns into a mirror capable of reflecting not only your external life, but also your internal life. Maintaining a Stoic journal is an effective method for incorporating Stoic principles into your day-to-day life. It is a method for gaining insight into oneself, making progress, and regaining command of one's life. Through the practice of journaling, you embark on a journey towards self-understanding, aligning your actions with your values, and living a life that is more purposeful and meaningful. It is up to us to be accountable for our actions and the decisions that we make. Once you have committed the same error multiple times, it becomes increasingly difficult to ignore it. Instead, we are instructed to acquire knowledge, adapt, and develop. It is like having a wise friend by your side, always there to listen, help, and guide you. Keeping a Stoic journal is like having that friend by your side. It is a commitment to improve one's understanding of oneself, to live a life that is in alignment with one's values and principles, and to grow as a person. Consider the challenges you face as opportunities to gain knowledge. In the world, there is an abundance of problems which can range from minor setbacks to significant changes on a global scale. As a human being, you will inevitably face challenges in your life. It would be challenging to find solutions to these issues, but what if we viewed them as potentially beneficial opportunities? When it came to analyzing issues, the Stoics had a powerful perspective. They believed that even though we are not always able to control the events that occur to us, we are able to control how we perceive those events and how we react to them. Changing your perspective allows you to see problems not as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth and development. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher, is credited with coining the phrase, "What stands in the way becomes the way." This phrase is the best way to summarize this concept. Consider the case of a river that flows into a rock as an illustration. The river does not stop, rather, it finds a way around it, either by eroding the rock over the course of time or by creating a new path. Despite the fact that it appears to be an obstruction at first glance, the boulder actually alters the path that the river takes. Problems in our lives can, in a similar fashion, alter the course of our lives and frequently bring about outcomes that we did not anticipate. By way of illustration, the loss of a job can initially be extremely distressing. However, it can also result in the beginning of a new career path, the possibility of acquiring new skills, or even the possibility of starting one's own business. There is a possibility that falling out of a relationship will assist you in developing as a person and establishing connections that are more profound and significant in the future. The Stoic worldview also helps people become more resilient. By viewing challenges as opportunities for personal development and growth, we are able to become more adaptable and prepared to confront challenges head-on. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" we should be asking, "What can I learn from this? How can this experience shape me for the better?" Of course, this does not mean that we should look for problems or ignore real ones from the situation. Realizing that every problem has a solution, a chance to make things better, is what it means to have this realization. Taking care of this seed with a positive attitude, patience, and persistence can assist us in transforming challenges into growth opportunities, opportunities for wisdom, and opportunities for happiness. 11th lesson: express your gratitude. In the intricate web of human feelings, gratitude is like a golden thread that runs through the middle. We experience moments of happiness and contentment, as well as new perspectives, as a result of it. It was a daily practice for the Stoics to anchor themselves in the present moment and express gratitude for the blessings that life has bestowed upon them. The Stoics believed in the deliberate practice of gratitude. There is more to being grateful than simply expressing gratitude, despite the fact that it is an emotion that can emerge when one is not expecting it. It is a profound appreciation for all of the individuals, occurrences, and forces that contribute to the improvement of our lives. It is about the ability to recognize the beauty that can be found in ordinary things, the lessons that can be learned from problems, and the realization that everything is temporary, which lends it an even greater value. This is exactly what it means to be grateful, to be deeply rooted in the present, and to cherish every moment, experience, and interaction. Seneca, a well-known Stoic philosopher, once said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without worrying about the future." This is exactly what it means to be grateful. The simple things that we take for granted, such as the warmth of the sun on a chilly day, the sound of laughter, a meal with loved ones, or even the air that we breathe, can be elevated to a higher level of significance and beauty in our lives if we take the time to recognize and appreciate them. In addition, cultivating an attitude of gratitude can assist you in overcoming the temptation to dwell on things that are lacking, desires that have not been fulfilled, or concerns regarding the future. By shifting our attention from what we do not have to what we do have, we can improve our overall health, cultivate feelings of contentment, and reduce feelings of envy and resentment. When it comes to this practice, one might be curious about how to improve. Every morning or night, you should jot down 3 things for which you are grateful. This can be a simple and straightforward technique. This practice has the potential to alter your perspective over time, making you more receptive to the positive aspects of life and more resilient when confronted with challenges when they arise. Gratitude also lends strength to interpersonal relationships. We are able to strengthen relationships, promote mutual respect, and initiate a positive feedback loop of love and kindness when we express gratitude to other people for their acts of kindness, support, or love. A gentle reminder of the abundance that already exists in our lives, gratitude serves as a wonderful way to express gratitude. This is a call to enjoy the present moment, to welcome life with open arms, and to walk this life path with gratitude in your heart. In a world that frequently places more emphasis on more possessions, accomplishments, and desires, this has become a call to action.